All right, welcome in, everybody. Dynamo post-game show here on YouTube, Soccer Matters, and we're looking for your insight after that second half. The Dynamo end up winning tonight 1-0 over Charlotte FC, and, of course, Charlotte FC coming into this game, number 5 in the Eastern Conference. Dynamo get a 1-0 win. They make the fifth-minute goal from Ali Ustand after a nice little clipped-in ball from Sebas Ferreira. That was a nice team goal. Look for your thoughts here tonight on this one. The Dynamo now go to a record of 8-6-6. They're now on 30 points. And they needed this home win here because they got Real Salt Lake on the road on Wednesday, and then they come back here against LAFC. But we needed to see the Dynamo see out a game in the second half, albeit it got a little bit nervy. Ben Olsen going to his bench early. I think one key significant thing was seeing that Hector Herrera came out of this game a little bit earlier than normal. I think this was good to get fresh legs in. Brooklyn Raines replacing Herrera in the 79th minute. The substitution pattern started with Sebastian Kowalczyk, who I think they got him in earlier in the 67th just to kind of try and change the energy. 10 minutes later, Brad Smith comes in along with Raines. 10 minutes after that, you get Daniel Steres and Gabe Siegel. The Dynamo get a win here tonight. Chris Finsky says, nervous for a good chunk of that second half. Yeah, I would say so. We're trying to work on the audio, by the way.
We're good.
Yeah, there was a very nervy time period there for me when we were calling this game, and I know that all of you out there saw it again. But, you know, you were hoping for a second goal, but you just started to see the Dynamo giving the ball away, some passes that weren't weighted well, some unforced errors, and you're just going, come on, you're not getting out of your half of the field here. This is, you know, you're just keeping Charlotte FC around, which, by the way, didn't really take advantage or capitalize on anything here tonight at all. And they had, I think, 2 or 3 really good quality chances that they very much failed on in this one. But it did get nervy, and then ultimately the substitutions began to turn it around. A lot of good props to Sebastian Kowalczyk. I think Amin Bassi began to step up on the ball in the absence of Hector Herrera. Raines was not a liability. Brooklyn Raines played some balls and kept possession. Daniel Steres, as the veteran, came on, and Siegel gave you some fresh legs up front for the final minutes along with Brad Smith. So end of the night, 69% of the possession. But the second half, the Dynamo really didn't get forward enough, in my opinion. But look, I'm saying all these things after they got a 1-0 win. Chris says, great call. Thanks for that, Chris. Thanks for listening. 15 minutes in, HH was already gassed. I don't know if you should be worried. He's a 34-year-old man. It was above 90 degrees here tonight. It felt like 106. Yeah. By the way, at the final whistle, 7 guys fell to the ground, including young guys, okay? All credit to both these teams. I mean, this is brutal weather to be playing in. So I'm just glad that Hector Herrera realizes that, you know, this has nothing to do with anything but just getting fresh legs into this game and seeing this out. And maybe that's something we're going to see a little bit more often with the volume of games, because you got to ride that horse wisely, right, in Hector Herrera. I thought Sebas Ferreira had a very good first half. A lot of his layoffs were one touch. He got the assist. He continues to be a part of goals. Probably should have scored a goal in this one. Had one real good opportunity leaping into the air. We should definitely be preparing for someone to, yeah, of course. He's 34 years old. I mean, not only are you preparing this year for that, as great as he is, you're preparing long-term for that as well. So, yeah, that's a good call by Jeff there. All right, what's your thoughts tonight, Justin?
Well, real quick, do us all a favor, because it helped us a lot last post-match show. Whatever platform you're streaming this from, share it to your profile. Let's get us some more views. Let's get us some more talk.
Most epic adventures. I love it. 3 points, forever orange, never purple. I love that. Let's see, who's that? Kotiko? I had me nervous during the second half. I'm glad the Dynamo were able to pull it off at the end. I mean, I think it was a very nervy second half, and I think a team with a little bit more sophistication as front players, I think you might have gotten an equalizer in this game. I don't think they had the sophistication up front. They had big bodies. I think a lot of youth there. I think Kerwin Vargas, another one that was dangerous at times. But anyway, yeah, I think it's good the Dynamo got out of here with the full 3 and the shutout. It's a 4th clean sheet of the year for them. Already shared on Twitter by Jeff. The most epic adventures is Rob Zip, by the way, for public consumption. All right, I like that. I need an epic adventure. That's for sure. Maybe we'll get one when Argentina comes to town.
What do you make of Ajiman and his play tonight?
Well, you heard me on the broadcast.
Yeah.
He was uneventful.
Yeah,
Didn't have a shot. His one moment was along the end line where he beat 2 people, but outside of that, seemed frustrated. I think he was handled easily by Mikhail and Eric Sviatchenko. I think Sviatchenko got the supporters player of the match, which I think was a really, really good choice. So there you go. Charlotte probably could have started the high pressure later in the half. Would have been more effective. Glad they held on. Clark continues to be a beast. Yeah, I think Edson, they were probably they score a lot of goals in the second half of games. So I think their whole identity coming into this was keep it close. Keep it close. We try to take a point. Second half, we know the Dynamo also coming into this has been a team that has conceded goals in the second half. So the fact that they didn't was a very good thing. Any other thoughts out there here tonight? You know what? We should update the Copa America scores too.
Chris did ask, what was your take on the back line? There were scary moments where a player got through and no one seemed to know where he came from or they came from.
Yeah, there was a couple of moments where I think people got caught a little bit in this Houston haze with the heat. And there were a few dangerous moments, but I did not think the quality of Charlotte FC would hurt the Dynamo. Ajiman went off. He was essentially a backup last year. They're looking for a number 9. Tavares came on. Didn't see much out of him. Abada had a chance. Vargas had one, a little one at moments. There was a ball that fell to Bronico that, he put into the crowd. So I don't think they have a lot of finishers. And that's pretty indicative of, not taking the chances that they had tonight here on the road.
Your Copa America update. Argentina wins 2-0 over Peru, so they have punched their ticket here.
Messi didn't play, right?
Did not. They have punched their ticket to the knockout round in Canada and Chile 0-0. Canada advances out of the second slot in that group.
Oh, so Jesse Marsh can you imagine that? If Jesse Marsh and Canada get through and the United States and Greg Berhalter don't. And by the way, Argentina will be here in Houston on the 4th of July, and they're going to take on the winner of Mexico and Ecuador. So I'll see you at that game because I'm taking that in as a fan.
Canada will face the winner of Group B, which is Venezuela, Ecuador, Mexico, Jamaica. And right now,
what else we got here? Why did Dorsey lose his head for a second? Yeah, I didn't understand that either. I don't know if he was trying to motivate the crowd, but that was a play that everybody was under control at that point. That was a little bit too much for me. I don't think he needed that. He is a motivation kind of guy. He started throwing his arms up to the crowd, and a night like tonight, in this heat, the crowd's a big advantage. Argentina is confirmed for Houston. We pretty much knew that. Great call as always, whoever that was. Thank you. I didn't understand Dorsey either. Yeah, Ajiman and Steve Clark had already figured it all out. That's what happens sometimes in sports, though. A play is over, guys have sorted it out, and then somebody else just comes in and turns it into something it doesn't need to be. Chris says, what do you think about Triple G? What is Triple G?
Greg Berhalter.
Oh, Triple G. Oh. Well, I don't know if you saw my comments on it on Fox 26 with Will Kunkel, but you can get them there. It's all over Twitter pretty much.
Let's see where
who's that down there? Who's that at the bottom? How come you have this in blue? Blue on a black background.
I don't know why it does.
Give a man a chance here.
Do you think Franco Escobar should have been sent off from that tackle, the 2-footed tackle?
No.
He got all ball.
I don't. He showed his foot. It wasn't 2-footed. I don't think the second foot got off the ground. No, I don't think so. Kotiko says Austin lost, Dallas lost, Dynamo won. Today was a good day. Do you think Franco should have been sent off? We already got on that.
Dynamo have moved up to 5th on the table now with that win.
Well, so there you go. That's Major League Soccer for you, right?
They're now on 30 points with 8 wins.
3 points, big. By the way, it's, as much as we lament the fact that we toss points away, I think, in two places, Atlanta and then at home here to Seattle, it is 6 unbeaten. Okay, so, you can take that any way you want. After spending a couple hours outside this morning, getting an early goal was key. I don't care how in shape you are. It's just about surviving in the heat and humidity. Well, take it from me, having played in this back in the 80s, it's 100% about survival. And I can go back to those times and, you feel like you're in a haze sometimes. Breath of fresh air to have a competent and consistent ref for once. Okay. Yeah, ref didn't, he was fine.
Do you want to lead into the RSL game for a little bit?
Well, it depends on what everybody else has got to say here, if they want anything else on the game. By the way, Soccer Matters will be Monday at 6. Will be Wednesday at 6. So hope you guys tune in. We'll be doing a lot of Copa America. We'll be doing a lot of Euros.
We'll have the bracket challenge.
We'll get to that in a second. But more importantly, we will be on the air, I think, an hour before the U.S. starts. So we'll do a lot of U.S. Prep against Uruguay. So if anybody wants to talk about U.S. Uruguay, you can let us know out there. All right. So why don't you tell them about the contest, Justin?
Yeah. So it's really easy. As soon as the knockout rounds are settled, when we know who's playing who, I will put a Google link up for a Google form on the Soccer Matters
Copa
social
America,
medias.
right?
Yes, for Copa America.
So
I'll put a Google link up on the Soccer Matters Twitter and Facebook. We'll have until July 4th at 7:59 p.m. To submit your brackets. Winner or whoever picks the best or the champion, will win a Soccer Matters swag bag. Whoever picks a perfect bracket.
Swag's going to have T-shirts. It's going to have Soccer Matters hat. It's going to have tickets to both Dynamo and Dash. It's going to be a good swag bag. It's not going to be, I'm going to give you more than a bobblehead of what's our mascot's name? Diesel. It'll be more than a Diesel mascot. Okay, I promise you. It's gonna be some good swag in there, and I got something extra special I'm going to put in that bag too, because somebody needs to get it. As far as Ezequiel Ponce, he can't play until the end of July, till the transfer window closes. Do you think we're out of the dark ages? This Dynamo team and coaches have given us a great product on the field. The dark ages. Well, it depends how we define that. I mean, nobody can be happy about the attendance tonight. I'm sorry. I'm going to be honest. I know it's hot and all that, but we have not had consistently good attendance here. So, it depends. I mean, I've been pretty vocal and about wanting this team to be incredibly relevant, and it should be more relevant, and we should be selling all the games out, and we shouldn't be even going to any excuses. There will be a Diesel bobblehead in there. Okay, I promise.
I think we're doing good right now.
Yeah, I mean, look, you're in 5th place. I mean, per Major League Soccer, you're doing well. Now, if Ezequiel Ponce comes in, and Ezequiel Ponce is the real deal, and he's going to start. Sebas can do whatever he wants now, but Ponce is coming in to be the starter. I don't know what the future of Sebas is. I've heard Asher Mendelson say, we're going to move 2 players this summer. I heard 3 more are coming in. What type of players they are, what that makeup is positionally. I know they would like another winger, the Houston Dynamo. I know that is a big point of contention. And why do you think? Because you got to service your center forward. That was the same thing I was saying, I think, before the season, though, with Sebas Ferreira, that he needed and would need better service. So whoever is in the 9 has got to get better service. That's going to be Ponce. Let's see. I'd love for some Soccer Matters merch. I'd buy a hat. I'd love for you to buy one. So if you go to LamontBrands.com, L-A-M-O-N-T, LamontBrands.com. It's a great company. They do all our T-shirts and hats. Get the one, though, that is the black hat with the gray mesh. It's a trucker hat. It's very cool.
I have one.
I think you got one.
Yep. Yes, sir.
But if you get that, the proceeds go to the 501c charity. It's called the Snowdrop Foundation, which basically is for pediatric cancer patients. So it's for awareness. All of that goes to that 501c, and they provide scholarships for pediatric cancer patients and kids that come through. It's really good organization. There will be 2 soccer balls in that bag, too, by the way. So This is a heck of a bag. So I want to see people. I'm going all out. You're not going to go. You're not when you get this Soccer Matters. Whoever wins this thing, when they get that bag, they're going to go, okay, this was the real deal. This guy Glenn Davis, he did put together a good package.
I'm actually curious to see your bracket. I'm gonna send you the link.
Yeah, well, we'll worry about that. Rex and Texan, I was hoping Energy hosting those Copa America games would give folks soccer fever in Houston and show up tonight. Well, I listen. Just because they're pouring in at Energy doesn't mean they're pouring in here. I mean, I think we've known that for years, and I know my ideas on what I'd like to see, and that would mean making a bigger effort with those authentic soccer fans. But they're not just going to walk over here just because they went to a game where they were watching their country play. 68,000 Colombians are out there. By the way, if you saw Glendale last night where Colombia played again, Houston with Colombian attendance blew Glendale, Arizona away. Blew it away. We were number 8 for a good minute. We're moving up the ranks, baby. Yeah, that's MLS, right? Get 6 points. It's the way you go. What do you think it'll take to fix the attendance issue? I think we get into this all on the show, and I don't really feel tonight. I don't feel like getting into it and I'll tell you why. And it's a really good discussion, and I'm glad you asked that question. But I'm going to give that a night off because sometimes I bang that drum a little bit too much. One thing I would just say on it is authentic soccer fans. This is where we got to market. I'm not a big fan of thinking, rap on the streets, and I'm not trying to be critical of anybody, but rap music is not the way to fill our stadium. Nothing against rap music. I think if you want to do something like that as your secondary marketing plan or a tertiary marketing plan, sure, that's okay. This is a city full of authentic soccer fans. 120,000 people just went to 2 games. Messi's going to come here. It's going to sell out. Messi's going to sell out against Tigres. Every time we have big games here in international content, it sells out. Authentic soccer fans are the way to go. It's understanding their culture. It's getting into their communities. It's beating the streets. It's improving a relationship with the youth community. It's beginning to produce some of our own players that play with the first team, so there's real identity and pride. It's going back into the history and wrapping our arms around the pride of soccer in this city. All these things can help it happen, okay? So that's basically an outline, all right? That's nice, Jonathan. I really appreciate that. That makes me feel good. Thank you for that. We needed to punish them. The second half came out flat. Got the win. Artur had a good game. I agree with Carl, too. Dude was everywhere for 90. Yep, coming back, setting the game up. Steve Clark being considered for the U.S. men's national team. Well, I'll tell you what, Ethan Horvath probably should have made that save against Panama. I don't care how hard it was hit. It's right at him. Get your hands up. Recent memory tells me the Dynamo have always hired marketing people from other. Yeah, there's a lot of that. And when you come from out of market, I think it's very, very difficult. I don't think it's just Mexican League. I think someone with international experience. But I think, yeah, that's not a problem. I mean, look, you can always steal employees from other teams in MLS that have been good. But they have to know Houston. Arthur, I'm glad we didn't give this game away. Me too. Mexico, you can't walk 10 feet without seeing your local soccer team. Yes, but that's not necessarily a fair comparison when you're going up against 3 other traditional sports here. A rap drug scene from 30 years ago doesn't bring fans. I'm going to have to agree with that one. Thankfully, live show when we won. Here. Is that what Rushan is talking about? It turned off this fan.
Oh, to that comment.
A rap, yeah. I don't know. We are so uniquely different as a sport, right? We have such a global appeal. I don't want to be like the other teams in town. I want to be uniquely different so that we bring people to these games, and we get these soccer. One thing the Dynamo did, they had an English night, but I don't think they drove it hard enough. I think certain cultural nights here, I do a night of Colombian food, Colombian. You go to the consulate, get Colombian people out. There's some ex-players that come through town. I mean, I would have loved to have seen Valderrama in and around here, because he was in town. There's a lot you can do, I think, to hit specific targets. And, you find out who the main people are in those communities, and they can take you to another land. I believe it. I really do. Who was my player of the game? So I thought Eric Sviatchenko had a very, very good game. I liked the comment about Artur as well. And I think in the first half, I think Sebas showed up for us, linked up, did some of the things that he hasn't done in the past, and had the assist to Aliou. But I think the two best players for me on the field for the Dynamo tonight, based on the type of game it was, the climate, was Eric Sviatchenko and Artur.
Here's a good one. What do you think of Griffin's chances for the national team in the future?
Age will hold him back a little bit, but I was kind of hoping he would get a look in the January camp. So I think all he can do is just keep playing well. But that's a position that is a point of contention. I mean, Joe Scally is number 2. He's playing in the Copa America behind Serginho Dest. I mean, I think Dest is number 1 for sure. Thanks for the nice comment. Most epic adventure.
Awesome.
Great chip pass by Sebas. Agree. None of the rappers wear Dynamo jerseys and others non-soccer. But yeah, but they're also used by the other teams. Why can't we be uniquely different?
Yeah.
Our sport is different. That's the thing. That's the thing. And again, I don't want this to sound, like I'm on a soapbox and I think I know it all, because I don't know it all. But I do know soccer in Houston pretty well since I've been here since 1984. And through this lens that you're looking at right now, I've seen just remarkable change. Remarkable change. Let me see something here. Triple G isn't pulling many MLSers. Well, that's the way it goes. Guys are playing in Europe. To be honest, we need Honduran players in the team. Well, we had Honduran players. We never marketed them. We had 2 guys, Albert Lis and Ramel Kyoto, that could have been marketed, never were marketed. Embrace the Dynamo alumni that are still in town. That's part of it also. Embrace all the former professional soccer alumni in town, but that's definitely part of it, because they're the ones that are most recent. I saw Jalil Anibaba tonight upstairs calling the game for the main Apple. I was on the local. Hold on, I'm reading these. Taking a chance on a young Colombian talent on there. Well, we had Quinones. He was a young Colombian. But you have to market these guys. We have to make them bigger than they are as they grow into their careers as well. Mikael is consistently good. He was consistently good tonight. Great night tonight. He's had a couple of games recently, though, where he's been punished for mistakes that have been made. But prior to the last 4 games, he was an all-star, in my opinion. I agree we need to be different, but I'd take an H-Town blue 3rd kit. Oh, I'm not. You'll know more about color schemes and kits than I do. Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Over the purple.
Yeah.
Look at what Mexico does now. I would just say this is pretty funny. So I'm thinking of Mexico, and I remember how much I just feared that green jersey, right? Green is what you got on. The traditional Mexico jersey, the old crest, that struck fear in the hearts of the U.S. and U.S. nationally. And now they're in maroon, they're in gray, they're in all these different colors for merchandising and making money. But nobody's scared of Mexico anymore. I'm sorry. I hate to say it, Mexican fans. I don't think anybody's scared of the U.S. either, for that matter. So, maybe the Canucks of Canada are going to end up being the best team in Copa America right now under American manager Jesse Marsh. Okay. Anything else, guys? We might be cracking it up here soon.
Packing it up. Off some scores?
Go for it.
All right. So we have Atlanta 2-1 winners over Toronto. Montreal beating the Philadelphia Union 4-2. New England getting destroyed 5-1 by Columbus. New York Red Bulls and DC United played a 2-2 draw. Dallas losing to FC Cincinnati at home 1-0. Nashville losing to Inter Miami at home 2-1. Sporting Kansas City beating Austin 2-0. Right now in the 32nd minute, LAFC is up over Colorado. Portland's down at home 1-0 to Minnesota in the 33rd. San Jose and LA Galaxy are tied 0-0 in the 33rd. Chicago is beating Seattle in Seattle 1-0 in the 33rd. And St. Louis is up 2-0 over Vancouver in Canada.
What did RSL do?
RSL, they were off this weekend, unless they play tomorrow. Let me look.
Boy, if they're off and they're in wait for the Dynamo on Wednesday, then the Dynamo turn around with LAFC. So you're getting two.
Yeah.
You're getting two big teams with dangerous strikers. So
RSL they've only lost 2 of their last 10. Christian Arango.
Arango's killing it.
Yeah.
I think he had a 3-goal game or.
Yeah, just recently, yeah.
Okay. Grapha says, I think a camouflage orange and gray would be awesome. You know why that would be awesome? You could wear it to the game and go hunting the next day. I miss being #forever orange. No, you can still be forever orange. Change the subject. Berhalter still has a job. So I went on Fox 26 here locally with one of their anchors, Will Kunkel. I did an interview with him. It's called Kicking It with Kunkel. It's like 40 minutes. And I addressed that subject. It's all over the internet. But should he have a job? No. If we want to be growing, no. If they don't make it to the group stage, I'm sorry. I think the players are getting a little bit too comfortable. If they get eliminated, no, I don't think he should have a job. Will he still have a job? That I don't know. U.S. Soccer does things in very mysterious ways. I think the pressure from the American public finally will rise to a point where you're going to have to can the manager, and you're going to have to go get something bigger and better. And I think there is tremendous pressure on this Uruguay game, and this is the way it's supposed to be because we have to see some level of consistency. It just keeps going like this. I'm wondering if the players are getting too comfortable. But if you go on Twitter and you look, put in Glenn Davis Soccer or Will Kunkel, whatever from Fox 26, you'll find the interview. And I think I'd prefer to just kind of send you there than rehash it right now.
This one is a good question.
How do you think the Dynamo are doing at this point of the season compared to last? I think better because we're doing this part of the season with the knowledge that we have a DP striker coming here, right? So I think what we saw last year quickly established, which was great, and over the course of the Ben Olsen era, is better possession game, better defensive team, all great things to build off. They both go hand in hand, and we've been looking to find a prolific goal scorer and a finisher to take what we deserve when we control a lot of the elements and the quote-unquote data of games. So that's why Ezequiel Ponce is being brought here. And there you go. Yeah, I don't know about Ben for the U.S. soccer national team. No, first things first. He's got to win an MLS Cup here. He's got his attentions here. Is it me or can Mikhail improve? Well, he's young enough; he can always improve. And he's, you know what? He's around a veteran defender. I thought Eric Sviatchenko tonight did some wonderful things that are subtle, sliding over and covering people laterally. That's reading the game. He's exceptional. There's a couple of times long balls come in. There was one that was hit into the heat of the night that he flicked back. I mean, this ball was way up in the air. Not an easy thing to judge. And he flicked it back to Steve Clark. So the whole blend of an older center back nurturing and working with a younger one is fantastic. And I think this is what we have. Well, Greg may be out, so we'll see. I don't think it's the players are too comfortable. The players respect him. Yeah, but respect in the beginning when they're less mature. Yeah, I don't know if it's totally, that's only people in a locker room know that. There's a very different thing between respecting somebody, respecting them soccer-wise, and or being too close to them. And I think that was a big drawing point and a point of contention in favor of Greg Berhalter in the early times, that he was very good with the young guys. But these guys now have all expanded their careers. They all are playing in Europe. They're in more difficult situations. They can handle it. So, I don't know. That has to be shifting and changing, because if it isn't, it's not healthy. Mikhail's young. Yeah, he's young. So is Endrick of Brazil, 17. We need a strict coach sometime like a Bielsa. I think it would be fascinating to get somebody like that. A Marcelo Bielsa. I thought it was a shame that Tata Martino was never interviewed after doing what he did with Atlanta in such a short amount of time, understanding the U.S. game. Greg Berhalter's brother, Jay, was in the U.S. Soccer Federation. People are always going to say there was nepotism, but then not to have interviewed Tata Martino to me is bizarre. And I want to say all this respectfully. These are just simply my opinions. Doesn't mean I'm right. U.S. have too much talent to be wasted on. Yeah, there is talent there. There wasn't emotional control for one of them. Talk about being a family that Greg has cultivated. Nothing about challenging them. Yeah, that's fair. I think sometimes that all gets overblown too, because family culture. The most important thing in a locker room is that people respect each other. I don't know if you necessarily have to be a quote-unquote family. You want a healthy culture. I don't think guys have to hang out with each other. In fact, when I was playing in the pro, and back then you were with everybody all the time. You lived in the same apartment complex, on the plains. It was almost too much, and you wanted to break, and you wanted to be around people outside of soccer. Sometimes you never got that. Ponce's at the end of the month. I think it's July 28th, right? The window closes or reopens for all those players that are signed up. But you watch the Bruce Arena kicking it. I saw little bits of it. Bruce Arena's seen and done it all.
Real quick, anybody who is watching on Instagram, Streamlabs does not let me change the aspect of the video, so you're really only seeing this part of us. Everywhere else, it's a full video, so I think next show I will not run the Instagram live because it's based on phones and its aspect. So I was getting some comments on my social media about it.
Like, what was wrong?
Because the way Instagram's set up, it's made to view it on a screen like this, opposed to a screen like this. So
okay.
everything else, your Facebooks, your
so
YouTube,
people want to
like
see
that.
a better angle.
Well, this is the better angle.
There is no good angle for me.
But the Instagram.
That's why I don't really care anymore. I don't have to put makeup on anymore.
So apparently Ponce was here in the stadium watching from a suite.
Yeah. So if he was here, you would expect he's probably in Houston, and he's going to be announced at some point at a press conference. Can you bump the audio?
Yep, I already did.
Okay. All right, guys. Anything else? I want to remind you again, Soccer Matters Monday and Wednesday. Now, look, I know you're all working and you're going home to your families, but I would love it if, like, these kind of comments migrated over to the radio show live. I would absolutely, that would be the greatest thing that could ever happen, because I'm constantly trying to convince people of this sport, whether they're in the front office of a radio station, of a pro team, of a TV networks locally. We're constantly fighting it, and that's a good thing because it keeps you hungry and wanting to grow the game, and it doesn't happen without all of you out there who are bringing all these great comments. So that's it. Tough matchup, Salt Lake City. Yeah, no question. Team fights like animals. Has got a striker that doesn't need 5 chances to score a goal either. What day is on the radio? All right, so it's FM radio, 97.5 and 92.5. It's ESPN. I'll be on Monday and Wednesday at 6. And then in Austin, actually, I'm doing a Friday. That's one segment, but it's in the morning show, which is good for the sport. So that's it. But I want you to thank Justin next to me, because Justin's the guy that gets all this set up, really puts a wonderful effort into it. He also does the stats and data on the Apple Local Call with me as well, and has done a absolutely tremendous job. So none of this happens without him, okay? So that's it. Who's going to the Argentina game?
I want to.
Yeah, I'm so used to going to games and calling them, but I'm going to that one as a fan.
Yeah.
That's it. There is interest in the game, full stadium for Colombian Power. Yeah, we know that. That's been going on for years. Yep. You're right. There is. Now, the trick is how do you get all these authentic, and I use that word authentic, and I'm also going to call them unique. And a unique fan is one that you don't get here into this building. Yep. Okay? And if you think of how many unique fans you have in the city of Houston, it's off the chains. They're all out there. Mm-hmm. But we got to bring them here, and it's a combination of things.
There is one thing I wanted to touch on really quick.
No, unfortunately. Actually, no, wait a second. Yes, I will have a pair, and I may have 2 pairs of tickets to the Argentina game. So there's another if you didn't want to tune in for me, you can tune in for that. That's good incentive right there. Okay, you're gonna save something.
Yeah. If you guys are out and about, one of the easiest ways to also catch the radio show. Almost everybody has the ESPN app. There's an option on there to listen to ESPN Radio, and you can click on ESPN Radio Houston, catch Glenn. When I was doing the notes for the game, that's how I was listening.
Oh, nice. Okay. All right, everybody. Thank you very much. I hope you all have a great rest of the weekend. I'd love for you guys to migrate over with your comments and your thoughts, and they can be as fiery and spicy as you want, because we're not going to grow the game here by, just regurgitating press releases and never having any real commentary, opinion, judgment, takes. Right. So that's the way it goes. So again, thanks everybody for tonight hanging in here with me. And I'll see you Monday, 6 o'clock Central Time, ESPN 97.5.
Thanks, guys.
Good night.